Hi guys, this is my English vlog number 2. Hold on. Nope, wrong way. There we go. As you can see, I got the lighting to work a little bit better this time. So, this one I'm going to be doing the Independent Reading Post, and I'm going to be talking about the book that I am reading for Independent Reading, which is The Book Thief. I've heard a lot about this book, really. A lot of people are saying that it's their favorite book, and I'm only, let me see where I am, 21 pages into it, and it is already very captivating, and I think one of those reasons, which I'm going to talk about, is the narrator and the style of how it's narrated. The book is actually narrated by Death, which I think is kind of great, if that doesn't sound too weird. First of all, it's individual. Okay? How many books out there are actually narrated by, like, the Grim Reaper? Not all that many, right? So, the Grim Reaper is actually the one telling the story, which is really cool, because even though it's about, like, a girl in Germany, it's actually being told by Death. And having Death as the narrator in Nazi Germany, I think is a pretty genius idea, to be honest, because it says on the back, Death has never been busier and will get busier still. And it's like, yeah, that's pretty true, because World War II was just so full of death. It was just awash in the blood of so many people. And so I thought that that was a really good way just to even set the scene for a book about World War II. And I really liked how that was done. So it also makes me think of Harry Potter and the Tale of Three Brothers and how Death was like an actual person in that story, which is pretty cool. So I really like the style of the narration in this book, and especially because even on the first page, there is a, halfway down the very first page of the book, it says, "Here's a small fact. You're going to die." And I thought that was a pretty interesting way to start the book. It's in all bold, and it's just like, you're going to die. Which I think is an interesting way to look at things, but I kind of liked it. Like, I was reading and I was just like, yeah, okay, that's true, we're gonna die at some point. And then it says, "I am in all truthfulness attempting to be cheerful about this whole topic, though most people find themselves hindered in believing me no matter my protestations. Please trust me. I most definitely can be cheerful. Just don't ask me to be nice. Nice has nothing to do with me." It then has a section called Reaction to the Aforementioned Fact. "Does this worry you? I urge you, don't be afraid. I'm nothing if not fair." Which I found interesting because, I mean, it doesn't really worry me because, yeah, everyone dies. It's gonna happen at some point. It doesn't worry me. Maybe, I mean, obviously death is scary, but it doesn't really cause me to be afraid. And it is going to come at some point. We all know that. And then the last line, "I'm nothing if not fair." That I have a problem with, because I think maybe it is the author, or maybe it is Death as the narrator trying to be ironic there. And that kind of, I don't know, I just kind of sat there and was like, nothing if not fair. So, Death is fair. And I mean, there are two ways you can look at this. One, yes, Death is fair. It treats everyone the same, everyone fairly. Everyone will die at some point. And in that way, Death is the great equalizer. Then there's the other way of looking at it, where it's not really the great equalizer, because some people have different ways of dying. Some people go before others, and it's like, they always say the good die young. So in that way, death really isn't fair at all. And that's the way that I was thinking of when I was reading this. And I was just kind of like, no, not really. I just kind of read that line and I thought, no. So I think that just from this first page, we can see a lot about the narrator. And I'm not sure how often the narrator is going to show up in this book, As I said, I'm only on page 21, so I'm just past the kind of introduction. And so from just this first page, we can learn about Death as a character and as a narrator, that he or she, I'm assuming it's a he, is fair, honest, definitely. In fact, honest to the point of being pretty blunt. And just kind of a trier, I think. For those of you who don't know, probably pretty easy to guess, but being a trier is a word that we use a lot in the horse world, and it basically just means that this horse just tries really hard to do his best. And so I really see Death as being like a trier, and his job is obviously not one that most people would want to have. I mean, it's got to be kind of tough, especially being so misunderstood, but death is a very important part of life, and I know that that's kind of like a cliche spiel that everyone's heard, but without death, I mean, we'd be wildly overpopulated, even more so than we already are. You know what I mean? It would just be, there would be so many people, but it's a necessary job, you know? It just is. People have to be able to die, and if people don't die, that's like messing with the laws of nature. Any of you who have seen a few episodes of Doctor Who will know that. You have to be able to die, because otherwise things just go wrong. So obviously he has a really difficult job, but a necessary one. And he's probably pretty misunderstood. So he's narrating this book, and he kind of introduces himself by saying, hey, you're gonna die, just so you know. And then he kind of goes on to be like, but it's okay. It's okay that you're gonna die. I mean, everyone does. I'm just saying, it's an inescapable fact. So he uses the word, especially in the first chapter, please. He says, please trust me. He just is kind of asking us politely. And so I like this image of death. I like how he's portrayed in this story. So far, anyway. That he is honest, and he's honest, and he's obviously not nice, as the book says. Nice has nothing to do with him. He's agreeable. He's kind of, he makes it easy on you, I suppose, is how I picture it anyway. And he's very into colors, which I will be talking about at some later date, I'm sure, because that really caught my attention as well. But having Death as a narrator is very interesting, because the narrator may very well be the person that we learn the most about throughout the book, because we're constantly seeing their reactions to what goes on in the book, if that makes any sense. So yeah, that was my little spiel on Death in The Book Thief. It's, so far, like I said, a very good book, very individual. Yep, this is the end of my vlog. Okay, bye, scholars.